plus Atieno, but that is in the second hour. For this first hour, I'm joined by Almeida Ayabe, who is a board director of Youth Enterprise Fund. Karibu sana Bwana Ayabe.
Thank you, Bwana Ben Njue.
Yeah. Maybe you can start with a brief introduction and especially to shed more light on what exactly the Youth Enterprise Fund and where we are at the moment.
Okay, thank you very much. To begin with, my name is Almeida Ayabe. I come from Baringo. Currently, I'm serving as a board member at Youth Enterprise and Development Fund, a position I've served now for 1 year and 6 months. And Youth Fund was established in the year 2006 and later on transformed to a state corporation in the year 2007. And it was formed or established to address challenges of youth unemployment, the rampant youth unemployment in the country, by providing loans or actually affordable credit services to our youth who are in businesses, those who are interested in starting businesses, and of course, those who are also doing tendering or procurement in our government, because we also have a product that supports them when one wins a contract. So basically, youth is operating under the Ministry of Youth Affairs, creative economy, and sports. Yes.
And maybe you can tell us the setup and the structure of the organization and also the age bracket we are looking at. I know people like me are already disqualified because of the age.
Okay. At Youth Fund, of course, we have board level, where we have a structure set up for board members, being headed by the chair and board directors. We have the CEO. And down there, we have management. We have actually a very clear structure. We have a setup to grassroots level, where we have officers to our constituency levels to serve this youth in the grassroots level. Yes.
The age bracket?
The age bracket, we are targeting youth of 35 years and below, to up to 18.
And for the benefit of the youth who are watching, what are some of the products that you have and what are some of the requirements?
Okay. Basically, because I said we were formed actually to address the issue of unemployment, we are there to encourage our youth to turn out from job seekers to job creators. We are doing so in a manner that we encourage. That is why we have a lot of products, as you have asked me. We have group loans. In group loans, we target the group of around 5 members. We have a minimum of 5 members. And inside in the same group, an individual can also borrow in that umbrella of the group,
As an individual now?
As an individual. Now, we said, assuming we have 5 members, 1 member can borrow but use other group members as the guarantors. That is in the perspective of group. We also have individual loans. Individual loans targets those who want to expand their businesses. We have those who want to expand their businesses. So that is on individual level. On groups, the difference there is on groups, we give them from a minimum of 100,000 gradually. They can graduate from 100,000, 200,000, up to a maximum of 5 million. And it is not secured loans. For groups, they are not secured loans, and this loan don't have any interest. What we only do for them is we just charge them what we call management fees of around 5%.
And in one of your intended beneficiaries, you're looking or targeting youth looking for jobs abroad. Maybe you can shed light on that. Does it cover, what does it cover exactly?
Okay. As we speak, Njue, we have several departments in our fund. We have a department which only concentrates to linking our youth to jobs abroad. And we have actually managed to secure 30,000 jobs for our youth in various countries in the world. And you see, as part of exposing this youth, as part of solving this unemployment, that is one of the focus that we are focused as a youth fund, so that we take youth to abroad, to link them to jobs in abroad, as well providing them with loans, those who are within, those who want to venture into businesses, both individuals and groups. Yes.
And the loan application process, we've seen in some instances it's quite hard to navigate through the loan application process. Is it easy for anyone who wants to maybe apply for that money?
Yeah, for us it's very easy.
Some of the requirements that are required?
For us it's very easy. One requirement for a group. Let me start for a group. The group must be registered at social service with a minimum number of 5 and beyond, but we encourage youth to be in existence of 5 members because it's easy to be managed. They can also manage themselves easily. And one requirement for a group is you must have a registered group. 2, in that group, you must, in a group of 5 members, 70% must be youth in that membership. That means we can allow one person above 35, which is okay, provided they are within 75% comprises of the youth. That is 1. 2, you must have an active bank account. You must have an active bank account. That is number 2. Number 3 is you must have a proof of the business, because you must have a well-structured business plan to also give us confidence that you are sure of what you are going to do. So those are some of the requirements. You must again have a business permit. You must have a business permit. For individuals, sometimes we have individuals, and in individuals you must have a collateral, for example, because that is an individual. We don't need collateral in groups. But for businesses that run by individuals, of course we require some collateral, like a logbook, like a title deed.
Just hold on. You're talking about the youth.
Yes.
And the collateral of title deed and logbooks.
Yes.
And you're targeting somebody who is 18 years,
Yes.
19 years.
Yes.
Where can I get this?
We allow them to use even one for their parents.
Okay.
Yes. Your brother, your parent, or even a friend. Because we have many who are ready to and willing to give them those titles to enable that individual to access the loans. Yes.
And I'm looking at some of the achievements. How much have you been able to disburse? You're almost hitting 20 years since you began operations.
Yeah, actually we are around 18 years old. And we have managed to change lives for almost 2 million youth. But to be specific is 1,905,000 at the moment. And we have managed to disburse over 14 billion in the entire, since inception. We have managed to disburse 14 billion Kenyan shillings.
Talking about 14 billion, what about the repayment? Because basically there are some youths who will be able to begin a business, start up business, and then it mushrooms and then shrivels up. What happens to such kind of youth?
Of course, we face some challenges, but our repayment rate at the moment stands at 75%. We are doing well in repayment because we have control measures. You know, we give those loans to a group known by even the local leaders. Like for now, we work hand in hand with chiefs and assistant chiefs. And then once a group gets those money, our officers frequently visit and to monitor the progress of the business. Yeah.
And do you provide market support and linkages, or just to give the loan and just wait?
We do. We do. We link, we expose them to these large enterprises. You know, by doing so, we'll have exposed them to even new ways of doing this, better prices, and of course, that individual youth will gain that confidence. Yes.
And in the Ministry of Agriculture, we have extension officers who make sure that the farmer is using the right pesticides, the right crops.
Yes.
Do you have more or less like extension officers who follow up on these youth and their businesses to see exactly where they are?
Yes. At the moment, before we disperse this money, I assume a youth borrowed some money for agribusiness, because we also have a product for agribusiness. We first of all organize for a training for them, where now we follow the agricultural officers. We do a training so that when these people are going to spend this money, they are spending on a particular and on a guided procedure. Yes.
And what about capacity building?
Yeah, we do capacity building. As we speak, for your information, we have done, recently, we just completed the 30th counties. We have been visiting all the counties to do a capacity building and sensitization. Actually, we have been supporting. We have supportive partners, like we partnered with Equity Bank. They have been supporting us in doing trainings. We have actually moved almost all the counties. At the moment, we have finished that counties, and the process is ongoing. Actually, we are anticipating that at the end of this year, we'll be able to have managed to cross all over the country doing capacity building for our youth.
Youth Enterprise Fund is a countrywide facility for youths.
Yes.
Do you have offices in all the 47
Yeah, we
countries?
have officers in all our 47 counties. Yeah. Actually, we have 3 per county. 3 officers per county. Yes.
Maybe you can share some of the success stories, because I'm quite sure there are some people who have really helped themselves and their businesses because of the Youth Enterprise Fund.
Yeah, I can share some stories. For example, here in Kajiado, at Kitengela, there is a successful beneficiary. This guy actually starts from 2 million. He borrowed 2 million. He spent the 2 million well. He graduated to 3 million. And now, as we speak, he operates at 5 million. He runs a business called Easternat Limited. It is based in Kajiado. That is, to be specific, in Kitengela. There in Baringo, we have a group. They started as a small group, and now they have grown. To an extent, they are even giving loans to other groups. For them, the story is very encouraging, because they started with 100,000, they graduated to 200,000, they went to 500,000. As we speak now, they are borrowing 1 million. And they are doing well. They are doing well. What they do is they borrow and they loan to other groups. Yeah. So I am feeling like going forward from now and future, these people will be graduating even to SACCOs. Yeah. So it's a very encouraging story. That is number one. That is in Baringo.
Yes.
Actually, to be specific, in Ildama Ravine. Another one, we have a guy in Kisumu who actually does the same. He borrowed gradually. He now runs a big dental clinic in Kisumu. And he just graduated like that. And we have a lot of success stories. Last 2 months or 3 months ago, we were in Gonoin constituency. There is a young man who also benefited from our product called asset financing. Asset financing is also a product that we for supporting those youth who actually interested in the water vehicle, so that they can ease their mobility of their products or farming goods. This guy, he also is also a beneficiary. He bought loans gradually. As we speak, that guy is owning a 6 acres land for passion fruits. So last week, 3 months ago, we bought for him an Isuzu Canter to ease the transportation from the farm to the market, among many other stories. We actually have a lot of stories. And in fact, I want to ask if you can also have, going forward, invite those individuals with their success stories to encourage other Kenyans that this thing is real and the government is doing a good work. Yes.
And because majority of the youths and on this space, a lot of Gen Zs are watching, and they do fall into that 18 to 34 age bracket. And many of them are in the digital space, yes. Content creators, yes. Musicians, yes. Actors. Yes. You know, how are they supported by the Youth Enterprise Fund?
Yeah, well, we also have a product called Talanda. Talanda is a loan gives to those youth who have ventured into creativity. Those who are singers, we have artists, and we have been giving money to these people. So actually, we encourage them to come to Youth Fund because we have a product that actually will help them. Yes.
And I've seen, I can't help but notice because of the content creation, you have the V Talanta loan and you also have the Vibe. Yes. The Vibe loan. Yes. I think there's more or less like a difference here. Yes. The V Talanta targets youth in the creative performing industry, while Vibe, there's a Vibe loan which supports youth who wish to start and grow businesses in the blue economy. Maybe you can touch on that because also in the fisheries as well.
Fisheries, sea what. So that Vibe supports youth who wish to start and grow business in the blue economy. And that in blue economy we have fisheries, marine tourism, maritime transport, etc. Yes.
What about the commercial infrastructure? How are you ensuring that also those people who start up the business do not fall into the many challenges that are there in the market and fail to pay?
In commercial infrastructure, this is something we started, and we partner with the county government, for example, or actually even the national government, in a free space. Sometimes we identify a free space, we partner with the county government or the national government, we build stalls. And then these stalls, we now encourage or we invite these youth in business, doing business to occupy those stalls. Like we have one in Naivasha. Actually, it's practical. We are in Naivasha. We are in Nakuru. Actually, in Nakuru town, we also have those commercial infrastructure. And it is doing well. It's also another way that will encourage the organization to earn income. Because we also get income from those stalls. Yes.
In 2020 was a very challenging year for everyone in the world, including the youth and some of the people you've also loaned money.
Yes.
And we have also seen some banks claim that a number of people have not been able to service their loans. What happens to someone who defaults a loan?
Yeah, what happened actually, it was a very difficult time, but we relaxed. We relaxed some of the, of course, due to the condition they were facing at the moment. So we were negotiating. We were negotiating with them on their favorable way that they can continue servicing, so that we don't fix them so much. And again, as Youth Fund, we don't miss getting repayments. Those people repaying the money, because we need this money. Again, these are revolving money. So we need them back so that to help another youth. Yes.
And what is for the last 18 years, as you've said, what has been the economic impact of the Youth Enterprise Funds on Kenyan economy?
Yes. To me, I can say it has really impacted positively on our youth. Because you can imagine 1.9 million youth who have access to this loan. It is clear indication that we have managed to impact their lives. From the success stories, you have seen we have the success story. We have a lot of success stories. That is why I'm telling you, in future, you try to invite these individuals so that it encourage other youth. Yes.
What about maybe are there any plans for expansion and maybe more allocation, you know, restructuring of the youth fund? Because after 18 years, we have to have some progress.
Yeah. In that 18 years, actually we started from 1 staff by every county. We have now moved to three staff per county. Remember, in a county, we have a county that has even 5 constituencies. So going forward, we are trying to fill positions to sub-county levels so that we can have an officer directly deals with a certain constituency so that we can spread these products to the remote areas in our villages there. Yeah.
Let's look at sustainability. How does the youth fund ensure that this fund will be there for ages and ages? You've been there for 18 years, and as I can see, there are some very, very good success stories for sustainability. What are some of the plans that you guys have?
Yes.
And especially being one of the board members who is tasked with also formulating some of the policies that are followed by the Youth Enterprise Fund.
What we will do is that we have a plan that ensuring that we get a good number of repayment, because actually what makes us to be sustainable is when we disperse this money, we get equivalent percentage of repayment, because we cannot go anywhere if we don't get back this money from the youth. So we have set controls in place that every now when we disperse some money, we make sure we recover in full. You know, when we recover in full, we are able to progress, and we will make it sustainable. Yes.
And I'm quite sure you've received some of the suggestions of how you can make even the fund far much better by the success stories that you're talking about.
Yes.
Maybe you can highlight some of the things that some of the people have been recommending that can be done to improve the Youth Enterprise Fund.
So one is we realize that there are youth who are not aware about the existence of the fund, and we have made sure that this is the reason why we have started this sensitization exercise, so that we give them, so that we sensitize them about this existence of the youth fund. That is number one. Number two is we are having our page, for example. We use our page like Youth Fund, Enterprise Fund, to train, to actually invite them or actually encourage them to visit our offices in grassroots level, some in headquarters, to actually get information about what we are offering at Youth Fund. Yes.
And you must have received some recommendations or even challenges that the youth are facing, some of whom you are supporting in regards to the business that they are doing. What are some of the challenges that these groups do face and individuals? And how do you help them?
Yeah, sometimes in agribusiness, you remember, weather sometimes cannot be favorable to those who are in business. You may put money in farming, for example, and you understand some natural incidents happens, like you may not end up meeting the target. So what we encourage the youth is that they actually need to put money on areas where they are sure that they will get money to do repayments. Yes.
Some of the youth we are talking about are already in the CRB,
yes,
the Credit Reference Bureau. They have been listed. And in many institutions, it's really tough to get money when you're listed at the Credit Reference Bureau. So in your organizations, do you also include those who have been listed adversely in the Credit Reference Bureau?
So far we have not, because those who have defaulted, some of them have made commitments that we give them an extension of a certain period, and we have actually seen them paying. We have seen them paying. So at the moment, we just encourage them that even after defaulting, you can still repay back the money. And that is why we stand at a good rate of at 70% in repayments. Yeah.
Actually, my question there is, do you, if at all I'm a youth
Yes.
and I'm listed in the CRB, can I still get funding from the Youth Enterprise Fund?
No, you can't. Even in groups, one member, if out of the 5 members, for example, a group is comprised of 5 members, and 1 member is in a CRB, that one definitely will disqualify that group. Yes.
I'm looking at also, Kenya is not the first country to initiate such a program.
Yes.
Have you been able to borrow from other countries, or what exactly they are doing to make the youth environment quite robust? A case in point is South Africa and Egypt, which are doing very well in terms of how they are helping their youth. I quite believe they have a form of a youth enterprise fund in their country or something.
Yes. What we do in that case, for now, in Njue, we currently depend on the government exchange in this disbursement. And we have expert and professional team. We have been doing benchmarking. We have been doing benchmarking to see how we can better also our organization. Yes.
What support have you gotten from the government, and is it sufficient? Because I'm quite sure there are a lot of people who have applied, but unfortunately because of the kitty, they cannot all of them be given money. How has the government support been?
Government support.
Are there plans to maybe increase the fund?
Yeah, government actually has been very supportive. And if you look at the Kenya Kwanza plan on the issue of better bottom-up economic transformation agenda, our president is very keen in addressing the issues of youth unemployment in our country. And by so doing, Njue, the government has been very supportive. They have been very supportive, and that is why we have enough money to support youth in business and those who want to start a business. Yes.
You mentioned in terms of sustainability, of course there are some challenges that come with that and with the evolving. I've mentioned one of the challenges was the COVID-19 pandemic, which really drained a lot of countries, and especially funds like this. What are some of the support that you were able to give some of the Youth Enterprise Fund people that you were able to give?
To sustain the business?
Yes.
So for now, it's just to relax and negotiate on the repayment terms. And perhaps maybe with a proof that really this business was affected by that reason, we may give them an extension period. Yes.
You're watching KBC News Check. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're taking a quick break, but we are discussing matters youth empowerment, and especially when it comes to the Youth Enterprise Fund, which has been in existence since the year 2006, and some success stories that we've had here. I'm joined by one of the board members. His name is Almeida Ayabe. We'll be back with this discussion after a brief moment. Back. Welcome back to KBC News Check. We are looking at youth empowerment, and more specifically through the Youth Enterprise Fund. I'm joined by one of the board members of the Youth Enterprise Fund, Almeida Ayabe. We are looking at some of the challenges. We also look at some of the disbursements, some of the loans facilities that the youth can enjoy. Remember, 18 to 34 years, you do qualify, and the loan are quite soft, as he says, but you're telling us about the interest rate. The others who do not even attract any interest. Tell us more about that, and maybe we can start from there.
Yes.
It's good to also tell them, in as much as this is a loan, there are some loans that do not attract any interest.
Yeah, for the loans who does not attract interest is basically group loans. Only group loans does not attract interest. Even Talanta loans does not attract interest. The other types of the loans now, that is individual loans, LBO financing. I think we also need to talk about LBO financing, because in LBO financing, this is where we target the youth who are in HACBO, who operates on HACBO, that is access to government procurement opportunities. We give them, sometimes a youth can win a contract. And you know the challenges outside there, that these people might lack the support to run that particular business. So when they come to youth fund, we help those people. And we have assisted a lot. Provided you give an evidence, that is have an LBO, approach a friend, your brother, or else your parent, to give you a security. We will support that particular person up to 70% of the total value of that contract. That is an LBO financing loan. Yes.
And maybe let me just point a few loans that I've also seen. You also have asset financing loan. You mentioned on Agri-Biz loan. We've talked about V-Talanta loan, LPO financing loan. There's also the Go Green for AGPO. Kindly explain that. I see the loan limits are from 100,000 to about 3 million shillings.
So those are groups, those are loans that supports youth entrepreneurs in green economy. That is like renewable energy, those who are in renewable energy, ecotourism, waste management, etc. Yes.
Disbursement, let's look at disbursement and the turnaround time for disbursement from the time you apply for a youth enterprise loan to the time that you're getting your money, and also the repayment structure.
Yes.
Talk something about that.
In fact, Joe, we have actually relaxed some of these conditions, as I've said, and even reduced the turnaround time by ensuring if a youth applies today for these loans, it only takes maximum 2 weeks. We disperse. Maximum 2 weeks. Initially, before, it used to take around 2 months or 1.5 sometimes. But for now, we have reduced the bureaucracy to exactly two weeks, maximum of 2 weeks. Yes. And the repayment, for a group, we give them a grace period of 3 months. You borrow the money today, you stay for 3 months, you start repaying.
3 months repayment holiday.
I mean, when you borrow today, you are given a grace period. Then you start paying. Now, for 24 months. So you are given 2 years to make your repayments. Yes.
All right, and there are other agencies and there are other funds, like the Women Enterprise Fund. There are a number of funds in the country. Maybe you can touch something on that, and especially on maybe how you work together with these agencies, because you mentioned the government initially and the support that it has.
Yes.
There must be other support that you're getting from other agencies.
From onset, I said our government is actually committed to ensure that they support these youth and, of course, address the issue of unemployment. And that is why we have a lot of government agencies who does the same role we are doing. Like, for example, we have Women and Enterprise Fund. They are doing the same. We have, if you don't get from this other side, you go to the Women Enterprise Fund. We have WESO Fund at constituency levels. We have National Affirmative Action Fund. We have KIE, Kenya Industrial Estate. That one now is open for everybody. You see, now for us as Youth Fund, we are strictly on 35 years and below. For women, strictly for women. Now for these others, like WESO, it's for everybody. For example, Affirmative Action Fund, is for everybody. GAF. KIE also is for everybody. So you see, the government has cut across in trying to support those who are in business. We have also in county governments I'm sure in county government also, there's a department for trade. They also have the money to support those who are in the business. So that's how I'm telling you, the government has really tried. And they are very committed to support those who are in business. Yeah.
And is there anyone specific that you closely work with other than the government, the national government, that is?
What do?
Do you have any agencies that you work closely with other than the national government?
No, at the moment, we just work directly with the government.
And as the board, how are you empowering? Are some of the policies maybe you have formulated to help this fund?
We have tried to, that is why I was telling you, initially, loan used to take a lot of months. But one achievement that we have made as a board of youth fund is to reduce that duration to 2 weeks, maximum 2 weeks. 2, we have also tried to, by reducing this, usually vetting was being done at headquarters. But at the moment, the officers in ground do the vetting and also submit the documentation for verification and disbursement. That is how we reduce all this bureaucracy, all this long loan disbursement time. Secondly, we again reduce the number of beneficiaries. Initially it was supposed to be 10 and above. But we said, for a group to be well managed, it requires a small number of the members. That is why we gave a minimum of 5 and above. And for youth fund, my friend, you don't need to know anybody. You don't need to know anybody. Provided you meet the requirements, you are a Kenyan, you qualify to get this money. Yes. And
how do you evaluate your impact? You've been there for 18 years, you've disbursed over 15 billion shillings. How do you assess the impact that you've been able to make over the years? And some of adjustments, are there any adjustments that you feel maybe you're also working on?
Yeah, at the moment, we try to make sure that we set systems in place. Like, for example, we have introduced a digital system whereby we don't need youth, the officers in ground can have a system where immediately after filling all the documents, verified, approved the loan, they send straight through that system. It's no longer analog. We are digital. We have set our systems and we operate digitally. Yes.
What should the Youth Enterprise Fund, anyone who is seeking assistance from the Youth Enterprise Fund, expect? You've been in operation for 18 years. Yeah.
Yes. Of course, they need to expect, they should always expect that we are committed to serve them. Our focus is only to support them, to serve them, and to make sure the loan don't take long, so that to solve an issue where, like for example, for the issue of LBO financing, you may get an LBO today. You are supposed to supply a certain goods by 2 weeks. So what we need to do is we fasten that process, so that we are also not caught up by the time in the other side.
And I'm looking at the East Africa region because we are more or less like a family, and I'm trying to compare how, because each and every country in the region has a way of assisting their youth. How are we doing in the region in comparison to other countries, and what are some of the key things that we can borrow from them, if at all we can?
I think at the moment as a country, through the better bottom-up economic transfers agenda, to me as a country, I think we are moving on well compared to other countries, because our major concern is on how to reach out to the youth in the reserve or in those people in remote areas to get access to this government support, and perhaps make them grow just like in other Kenyans. Yes.
You've mentioned rural areas, and to get these funds into the rural areas of Kwale, Kilifi, Northeastern, how has been the trend there in terms of the uptake of the loan?
It is doing well. It's also doing well because we have officers who are also stationed at those places. So at the moment, the loan uptake per county in our country is doing well. Yes.
What about the gender parity? You find that in some aspect there are more men seeking assistance like this. How do you balance that?
Yeah, because we are dealing with youth.
They are all youths. Yeah.
They are all youth, of course, they are all youth. So at the moment, we encourage all the youth of across the gender to get access to these loans. But at the moment, we are balanced. We are balanced, both the women and the men. All of them, if you look at the trend of borrowing, we are actually balanced. Yes.
You mentioned government support, especially especially on the funding itself, but I'm looking at also other partners that also maybe we can rope in, including organizations here in the country to assist in terms of extension services, in terms of also funds, because in some aspect I see you have a limit on how much you can be able to give to the youth. If we make this youth fund quite robust, it will attract a lot of youths. And one of the ways to make sure that they know exactly what is happening, it's more or less like a TV interview like this, or even radio, even in the extension officers that you mentioned, to make sure that they know exactly what they are getting into.
At the moment, we have introduced a department called resource mobilization. And in this resource mobilization department, the key mandate is only to source for partners outside, those who can come and support our mandate as youth fund. And as we speak, we have written a lot of proposals to them, and I'm sure as time goes, we'll be getting a support from them. Yes.
I'm looking at your loan products, and I see there are 8 loan products, from group to business to asset to agri to Vitalanta to Vibe. Yes, 9 actually. Do you have plans to introduce other products to suit the needs of the youth?
No, at the moment, we are figuring on those 9. Because I think we have touched all the areas. We have touched all the areas. At the moment, we don't have any plans to introduce any other loan, but only to operate within, unless if there is need to be.
And I've also seen you have a migration loan. Maybe you can touch on that so that our viewers can understand.
For migration loan, as I've said, actually we have loans for those who are migrating to other countries, actually to work, either to work. We give them loans to cater for their ticket, for the general expenditure, so that once they are there, they have been paid, they now repay back our loans. Yes.
From the 9 products, which has the highest uptake?
Yeah, it is 2. At the moment is group loans, individual loans. But individual loans is doing the best compared to the other one.
And which has a high rate of return in terms of the youths themselves?
It is individual.
And the individual loans.
Yes, individual loans.
Maybe you can touch a little bit on that.
Yes. You know, in individual loan, this is because it cuts across in agriculture, LBO financing, and of course, those who already are in business, they just need money for expansion. So such people have established businesses, so they don't have big challenges when it comes to repayment. That's why we have a very impressive repayments from them. And we encourage, that is why we introduce and we really encourage these individual loans, because it will directly benefit an individual. In the same, even in groups, you find there is a challenge in groups because a group can borrow loans at some point. Issues may arise in that group. Issues, you understand, groups politics. They may turn up into a circumstance whereby they make votes, they change officials. There is a lot of issues in that group. So you find it will also affect the repayments. Sometimes, again, in a group, you may find someone can get a job somewhere else, other can go to another place. So coordinating on how to pay becomes a problem. Yes.
Very well, and when we come back, we'll be wrapping up this conversation. We are looking at youth empowerment, and more specifically via the Youth Enterprise Fund route. We have been actually touching on more on even the loan products and some of the challenges that they have been facing. Extension services that they are providing to ensure that all the youths in the 47 counties, remember they are in the 47 counties, are all benefiting from this fund that has been in operation for 18 years. When we come back, you'll be telling us what they can really pick up from the 18 years that have been in operation, at what are the future plans. On the second hour, as I mentioned, we'll be looking at the registration and regulation of PBOs and NGOs in the country. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to KBC News Check, and we're on the tail end of this conversation that I'm having with Almeida Ayabe, who is the board member of the Youth Enterprise Fund, and we are looking at that fund and how it can be able to help youths, and especially those who do not know this loan exists. They have some quite interesting loan products, including for the content creators. So as we wrap up, maybe you can give a word of advice to maybe the youth who do not know that they can really benefit from this. You have very low interest rates. Some don't even attract loans. Maybe you can speak to them.
Yeah, my advice to the youth of this Republic of Kenya is that the government cares for you, and they have channeled a lot of funds to all those agencies I've mentioned. That is Youth Fund, Women Enterprise Fund, Ways of Fund. We have National Affirmative Action Fund, KIE. I want to encourage them that you don't need to strain or ask yourself how to get money to run your business, to start your business. The government cares for you. What you need to do is visit all those agencies I've said, inquire from them, and definitely you will be assisted, and perhaps get some money to run your business. Yes.
Final words as we wrap up.
Yes. I also want to ask all our leaders that we have that it is a responsibility of all of us to address the challenges that are facing our youth. Actually, starting from the lower leadership, that is like MCA, up, down. Because I know during the campaigns, everybody had in their manifesto an agenda on youth empowerment and employment. So when all of us comes in that unison to address all these challenges of the youth, we'll have reduced a quite number of this problem. Yes.
Where are your offices, and especially in the counties, where are they domiciled? For the
at county offices, we are found at in every government office, in every national government central office in county, we are occupying their offices. We actually have rooms there. At headquarters here in Nairobi, we are found at Harper Hill. That is at Renaissance Plaza at the 4th floor. Yes.
All right, thank you so much indeed for joining us, Almeida Ayabe, who is the one of the board members of the Youth Enterprise Fund. We're looking at the youth empowerment opportunities and also entrepreneurship development that are there, but they need some bucks, and these people here can help out youth. Remember, 18 to 34? Yes. 18 to 34. And therefore, you can join a group which can also help you propel to get a loan that will be able to assist you in your ventures. Talk about vibe loans, talk about for the digital economy, talk about green energy solutions. They all have it. Thank you indeed so much for joining us, and all the best in your endeavors as you help out our youths in the country.
Thank you very much.
Very well, that's where we put a cap on that discussion, but when we come back, we will be looking at the registration and regulations of PBOs, and I'll be joined by the Public Benefits Organization Regulatory Authority Acting Director General Lyndon Nicholas. And if that hasn't rung your bell, the PBO is formerly the NGO Coordination Board. A number of questions we have here. You do remember there were some even organizations that were flagged for failure of registration and following some of the rules that are put in place. We'll be answering all those questions when we come back.